Before we get into this think piece, I have two disclaimers that I'm going to give throughout the video and right now. First disclaimer being, this does not apply to all women and this does not apply to all men. That is the first disclaimer. The second disclaimer being, we are not going to go off of the definition of slut that you see on the internet. I don't agree with that definition. And then once I explain to you why I don't agree with it, I'm going to give you my definition of a slut. Okay, the definition of a slut, if you look online, is a woman that sleeps with a lot of men. All right, that is the definition of a slut. The reason why I don't agree with that take, first being, it's all about intentions. Okay, I'll give you a few examples. There are women out there who think that giving men what they want is how they're going to get loved. It is that simple. There are women out there who, like, if I give him what he wants, if I sleep with him, he's going to like me. There are also women out there who have slept with a guy, and because they felt so vulnerable with him, they chased or they had these really strong feelings towards him. And they think that that works on men. And they think, oh, if I suck him, if I fuck him good enough, a lot, eventually I'm going to basically fuck the feelings inside of him. That is how a lot of women think. And as a man, you might be thinking to yourself, well, that's stupid. That's not how that works. Well, who cares if they're sitting there and they're making these dumb decisions, right? Still a slut or whatever the case may be. That's their fault for making the mistakes. But the reality is, as men, we make the same mistakes. It looks different. But we make those same mistakes. Okay, so their mindset, just to compare the two, just to compare the women's mindset and the men's mindset. Women think we think that this is what men want, so we're going to act accordingly, and it doesn't work out for them, right? So they sleep with them. For men, raise your hand if you're watching this as a man and you heard a woman complain about an asshole that she was talking to, dating, sleeping with, and you thought, I'm just going to do the opposite of what he does, and then she's going to like me. If I'm a betting man, I'm going to assume that 99% of the men that are watching this video have raised their hand. Or maybe you've heard a woman complain, he never takes me out on dates. All we do is just go to his place and fuck, and I want to be taken out on a date and blah, 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 blah. So you think to yourself as a man, okay, she wants to be taken out on dates, or she's complaining about not being taken out on dates. I'm going to take her out on a date, and then she is going to start to like me. If I'm a betting man, I'm going to assume that 99% of the men that are watching this video are raising their hands. The problem with that, the problem with thinking to yourself, she's complaining about this asshole who's being mean to her, I'm going to do the opposite of him. A part of you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, logically, if she's complaining about him, she doesn't like him. But that's not how feelings work. You're not getting the emotional aspect as to why she's complaining. You're only looking at it from a logical aspect. So you say, okay, she's complaining about him being an asshole, I'm going to do the opposite. But the reality is, she's attracted to the asshole. Or to the assholes. So what you're really saying is, I'm going to do the opposite of what she's attracted to. Now this is an oversimplification. If you want me to actually make a video as to like why women quote unquote like assholes, I can do that, but that's not what this video is about. So with that being said, that is a mistake that we make as men. We think we know what women want, so we do it, and it ends up, that's how she ends up being like, he's too friendly, he's too nice, he'll let me walk all over him, whatever the case may be. I only look at him as a friend. And before the women get in the comment section and they're like, oh, so you're saying men and women can't be friends? No, I am not. Okay, comprehension. All right, what I'm saying is, as a man, if your intention, once again, this is what this video is about. If your intention is, I want her to look at me as a romantic partner, ergo, I'm going to do the opposite of whatever the asshole is doing that she's talking or complaining about, then she's going to like me. Those intentions are different than being like, oh, she's a pretty cool person, we can be friends. Completely different intentions, which is what this video is talking about. I already gave you the example of the dude's not taking her out on dates. She's complaining about him not taking her out on dates or whatever the case may be. And then you go, well, I'm going to take her out on dates. And then she sits there and she's like, I'm going to be honest with you. You give off too friendly vibes, whatever the case may be. So then you end up getting friend zone, which I don't believe. I don't think friend zone is real, but just to make this video way simpler, I'm going to use that term, even though I don't believe friend zone is a thing. I want to make this very clear. I do not believe the friend zone is real. Also, if you want me to make a video explaining as to why I don't think the friend zone is real, I can. That's not what this video is about. Oh, Mark, so you're sitting there saying that women don't like being taken out on dates because they're sleeping with men that don't take them out on dates? I'm not saying that. Comprehension, intention. I already explained that to you twice. I'm not going to do it a third time this video because that's not what this video is about. So, with that being said, we both make mistakes off of intentions. Our intention, I'm going to sleep with this man to get him to love me. You can be a lover girl and sleep with a lot of men. That's if you're looking at intention, you can be a lover girl and still sleep with a lot of men, because you can think to yourself, you can have this false perception of, I want this man to like me, so I'm going to sleep with him, and then he's going to like me, and then we're going to live happily ever after. Or have the intention of being like, I want this man to eventually make me his girlfriend, so I'm going to fuck the feelings inside of him. Okay? Those are the intentions. You can be a lover girl and sleep with a lot of men. Now, that's why I don't think the idea of a slut is a woman that sleeps with a lot of men. Here's what I think a slut really is. I think, and when I say slut, I don't mean this in a negative way at all. Okay? Derogatory. I don't think it's derogatory. I don't think it's a negative thing. For me, a slut, in this case, men can be sluts too, but in this case, I think a slut is a woman that really enjoys dick to the point where she is willing to make bad decisions to get dick. I'm going to give you an example. I have a homegirl. She slept with 2 men in the same day. There was no intention of oh, I'm going to sleep with this guy so he can like me, and I'm going to sleep with this other guy so he can like me. There was none of that. There was none of that. She wanted good dick, so she hit this guy up. He did not provide it for her, so she hit over-liable up. That right there is what I would define as a slut. And if we're going to take it a step further, not only do I think that's not a bad thing, I think as men, we want that. Hear me out before you guys start getting in the comment section, whatever the case may be. I'm not necessarily saying you want a girl that's going to sleep with you, and if you don't do a good job, she's going to sleep with someone else. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you're going to want a girl that is going to make risky or questionable decisions in pursuit of good dick. Here is what I mean by that. If your girl does not have any no slut side to her whatsoever, all the fantasies that you want as a man will not come true. And once again, before I give you examples of what some fantasies men have, this does not apply to all men. Another disclaimer, this does not apply to all men. But there are men out there, fellas, if you are watching this video, raise your hand if you've ever thought to yourself, man, I don't want to ask my girl to suck my dick. I want her to want to suck my dick. I don't want to have to ask for her to suck my dick. I'm going to assume that a smooth 85 to 95% of men watching this video and heard that are raising their hand. Well, guess what? You don't get that if she's not a slut. If she don't got a slut bone in her body, you're not going to get that. You're going to have to initiate, because once again, she the reason why that's questionable, and the reason why it might be a bad decision in terms of just like whipping it out or whatever the case may be, because depending on your dynamic, depending on the situationship, it might not be a good time. It might be a bad decision. I'll give you an example. Okay, let's say you're driving, right? How many fellas? How many of you had this? How many of you had this fantasy? Right? You're driving down the highway, on the road, or whatever the case may be, and you're like, man, I could just go for some head right now. I wish she just whipped it out and just put it in her mouth and went crazy. Like, I just wish she knew how to do that. The reason why that's a bad decision is because you're driving. If she's going to town, if she's going crazy, now you're putting, or she's putting, you two's life in danger. Okay, another question. How many fellas wanted their girl, where you guys out in public, she wearing a sundress, and she just lifted up real quick, let you hit it from the back. Guess what? You guys are walking out of park. You guys might be on the beach. There's no one around, and she just like, hey, look, babe, there's no one around. Just go ahead. She lifted the dress. Go ahead, put it in. Guess what? That's quote unquote a bad decision, because now you two are out in public. You guys can get in a lot of trouble. You guys can get into a lot of trouble. Okay, that's making a bad decision in pursuit of dick, good dick, whatever. I want to say like good dick or whatever the case may be. Whatever. Also, the whole and once again, this now we're getting a little bit more niche. Now I'm about to start to lose a lot more men who might not be as sexual, but the idea, but women are going to understand this. Women, ladies, y'all going to hear this, y'all going to understand. But to have a woman in the bedroom and just be like, I want you to just do whatever it is you want to do with me. Like, I'm yours. Like, anything you want, take, whatever the case may be. Guess what? That's also some risky thing, because guess what? Maybe that involves some choking. And guess what? If she doesn't have a slut bone in her body, her mindset's gonna be, that's like really degrading. You care about me. Why would you want to choke me? Or spanking. Like, hey, listen, you really care about me. Why would you like want to hit me? That doesn't like that. Why would you want to do that? That's not there. If she don't got at least a little bit of slut in her, if she don't got that side of her. Now, obviously, it's a spectrum, okay? It is a spectrum. Some women gonna be 80%, 90%, 70% slut, 30%, 40% slut. Regardless, you're gonna want her to be. You're gonna want her to have that in her. And once again, this does not apply to all men. Once again, this does not apply to all women, because I know there are women out there that are going to be like, I don't like getting choked. I don't like getting spanked. I don't like being degraded in the bedroom. I just want to make love. I want to feel like I get that. That's obviously not for you. And I know there's going to be men out there like, I don't want roadhead. I want her to be pure. I don't want her thinking negative thoughts. This video is also not for you. Okay? And that right there is why I think even if your girl is a quote-unquote slut, by my definition, first of all, I already explained to you why I don't even agree with the definition of a slut online, because you can still be a lover girl and sleep with a lot of men. But that's why I think if your girl is a slut, it's not a bad thing. Okay? First of all, we're not going to get into that. Actually, that's going to be a whole other video. That's going to be a whole other video. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I feel as though I would be able to go way more in depth with things and elaborate on a lot more things if I had a script. But when I make a script and I follow the script, the videos aren't as long. and you guys like a little bit of a yap session. You guys like hearing me talk, so I could, if I see in the comment section that there's a lot of confusion, whatever the case may be, I'll probably go ahead and do a script and like tackle those things or whatever the case may be. But so far, whether you disagree with me or agree with me, I want to know in the comment section. I appreciate you guys for watching. Later.